Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 16th of April. It is Wednesday. We do have a 4-game day slate, 10-game main slate this evening. Nothing from a weather standpoint other than we do have a bunch of games in the 40s and 50s weather-wise. So it'll be interesting to see. All those games are in the evening. Not a ton of wind. I mean, there's wind, but it's not an aggressive amount of wind. So maybe we just get to focus on the actual pitching matchups and not have to worry as much. Obviously, wind blowing out in certain stadiums affects things a little bit more. Out in Yankee Stadium to that short porch makes it interesting. Minnesota having it blowing out during the day, definitely kind of interesting considering one guy has given up 4 home runs in 10 innings so far this season. So that is something that we're going to want to pay attention to. But we do not have early ownerships or even this evening ownership for pitchers just yet. So we'll just have to dive right in from a matchup standpoint and using some of the DK odds. A reminder, this is a first look at pitching for this slate. I do try to go more in depth for the members at DFS Army through my notes, through our Discord, etc. I will be utilizing DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play on FanDuel, I would cut my pool into a half just because you don't have to be as creative. Pricing isn't quite as tight, and you're able to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. All right, now that all that is done, let's take a look here at this early slate quick. Just a 4-gamer. We get the return of Spencer Strider, who still, after multiple seasons, is a relief pitcher on DraftKings. Maybe someday he'll be viewed as a starter, but Strider returning from Tommy John. So, what does that mean? Well, as we see, 90 pitches in his final outing, 5 1/3. So he did pitch into the 6th. They didn't stop him at the end of an inning. I would guess that he's just a 90 to 100 pitch guy right away. Obviously, it could just depend on the game flow and how things are going. I don't see him going beyond 6 innings, even if he's super sharp. The ramp up, sit down, cool down, ramp up, in between innings, all that stuff. I think they're going to try to limit that. It could even be a 5 inning thing, but I would guess that he's topped out at 6 innings. His outs prop on DK is at 16.5. Juices on the under. I tend to want to lean towards that 5 inning mark just because it is the first start, but there is obviously upside to it. He is tied with Bassett for the top K prop on the slate at 5.5, juice on the over. He is the second favorite out of all the starting pitchers on the slate to earn the W at plus 165. He is a minus 148 favorite, and this game does have a total of 7.5. That is the lowest on the slate. So, are we using Strider? Yeah, we're definitely using Strider. We're actually going to use Bassett on the other side, who's looked phenomenal to begin the season, which has caught me off guard a little bit. Strikeouts have been up, which is weird, even though his lowest strikeout performance came against the highest strikeout opponent that he's faced so far. Kind of a weird combination. With that said, his pitch counts have trended down. Kind of weird to see him open the season at 106 pitches. But we know that Atlanta has some outs in that lineup. Most of the bats have been struggling aside from Austin Riley, Sean Murphy, and maybe Ozzie Albies starting to heat up as well. K prop of 5.5, like I mentioned, with juice on the over. I think Bassett certainly in play for us on the slate. I think most of the guys are actually in play for us on this slate, which is gross, just because the slate itself is somewhat gross from a pitching standpoint. Blanco, St. Louis doesn't strike out a whole lot, but he kind of bounced back a little bit last start with his best start of the year. And on a 4-game slate, like I could see him ending up in the winner. His K prop's at 5.5, juices on the under. Uh, Quintana and Festa both have K props of 5.5. Juice being on the under. Quintana being a strikeout guy, I would bet the under on that 5.5, to be honest. But he can surprise a little bit. I do like Detroit some against left-handed pitching. Obviously, his debut with the Brewers saw him go 7 innings, 80 pitches only to get those 7 innings, but just two strikeouts. I don't know that he has a ton of K upside, but he has a ton of clean inning upside, which is pretty important on DK. Not as important on FanDuel because we want innings but strikeouts a lot on FanDuel. With DK, we love strikeouts, but clean innings being an efficiency site, Quintana can rack up some clean innings quickly, as we saw in that Arizona start. And I think that's something that gets overlooked a bit by people when playing on DraftKings. David Fessler making his second start was solid in his first one. Uh, the Twins are just terrible at allowing pitchers to go deep. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason with what they do with taking pitchers out, but Festa is tied with Strider and Quintana on earned runs prop at 1.5, K prop of 5.5, like I mentioned. He is a minus 118 favorite, so just a slight favorite. We did mention the wind was blowing out. There is some bit of a worry. You're going to have to dig into kind of his splits because if he is strong against right-handed bats, I feel even better about him just because of the way Alonso's been swinging it. Hageman is the one that I referenced. He's the one that's given up 4 home runs in 10 1/3 AAA innings so far this season. A lot of runs, home runs, etc. It's just not somebody I want to be interested in, even though Minnesota has struggled enough. Montero is a guy that's intriguing. He's looked great in AAA. I believe he made 2 starts so far this season. I have it up here actually. His numbers, yeah, 2 starts, 9 2/3 innings so far, with 11 strikeouts. Solid. I thought he was somebody that might make the rotation, but the Tigers do have some arms, so he's interesting enough. Milwaukee against right-handed pitching, I kind of like some of their bats a little bit more, but I think Montero's worthy. And Steven Matz, I'm not really sure what to expect out of him from a length standpoint. He did throw 46 pitches just 4 days ago, which shouldn't interfere with anything, but he's been throwing out of the bullpen more. Um, I wouldn't. I would guess that he could probably get 50 to 60 pitches, but is that enough on this slate? I'm not sure. Lowest K prop at 3.5, it would choose on the under. So not really somebody I think we want to get to. So easy to be a guy that we can eliminate from our pool. Over to the main slate this evening. We get a bunch of not so great spots, to be honest. When Aaron Nola is our most expensive pitcher, uh, as he's looked below average to begin the season, I'm not really sure I'm excited to go there. Now, like, he's had stretches of looking really great. This start against Washington, he was great, and all of a sudden he just hit a wall, racked up some strikeouts. St. Louis is solid, a team that's not striking out a whole lot. He would manage to rack up strikeouts. Everybody's going to struggle against the Dodgers for the most part, but the fact that he's 9K, most expensive guy, I'm kind of up in the air. I think we're going to have to use him on this slate. I just wish there were some stronger pitching options where I could play the fade. He does have the highest K prop on the slate at 6.5. He is plus 145 to earn the W, which is second on the slate behind Brandon Pfaadt. He does have the highest outs prop at 17.5. This game total is 7.5, and he is a minus 155 favorite. So there's a lot of things that the prop lines like for Nola. I think we just have to use him, but I'm not super excited to throw him out there. Jose Soriano. It's a name that I didn't write down when looking through some of the props because I didn't think I was going to end up there. But the more I think about it, the more intriguing he becomes. We just saw Kikuchi shut down Texas. The Texas lineup has struggled overall. He's such an extreme ground ball pitcher. He does have K upside, against a Cleveland team that isn't a huge K team or traditionally hasn't been, striking out nine. His two best starts out of the three have come on the road, where he's at today. Uh, I think because of the way the slate is, I think we do have to consider him and probably play him. Brandon Pfaadt going to carry some ownership against Miami. Strikeouts haven't really been there. He was solid against Baltimore, not spectacular. Didn't put up a score that you absolutely had to have by any means. He is a minus 162 favorite. Like I mentioned, he is the favorite on the slate from a pitching standpoint to earn the W at plus 130, and his K prop sitting at 5.5. All solid numbers across the board. I think Fott's going to be fairly popular. Bryce Miller hasn't really racked up strikeouts by any means. Isn't going deep. He's racking up pitch count early. Walks have been there. This ballpark isn't the greatest for pitching. Cincinnati is prone to lapses and struggles, so I think we have to consider him, but I'm not excited. Bubic is more of a GPP dart throw because he has been picking up strikeouts, and the Yankees can strike out a lot against left-handed pitching. So it might be somebody that we can gain some advantage of on the field. I'm never a Gavin Williams guy, so he's going to be removed from my pool. Even though I think Baltimore's offense has struggled enough, but I just can't use Gavin Williams on a large slate. Max Meyer, big time prospect coming off of a strong start. Arizona's a difficult opponent, but I do have some interest in Max Meyer. I don't like that his K prop's just 3.5. I don't like that he's plus 265 to earn the W. So there are some things pointing negatively towards him, but he's just a guy that I believe in upside. It's whether he can achieve that upside in this particular matchup. I'm not quite sure yet, so that's one I want to look into a little bit more as the day progresses. Robbie Ray, a guy that can be super volatile. We see 9 walks over the last 2 starts with 9 strikeouts. But aside from those walks, if he didn't walk that many people and rack up pitch count, could we have seen 6 innings of 1-run ball with 7, 8, 9 strikeouts? I think we could have. I think he has just a ton of upside on this slate in this matchup, and I want to utilize it. He's super volatile. Like, he's going to hurt us way too often. But he's the kind of guy that I want to play, especially on large slates, because there's a route for him being the highest raw point scorer on the slate from a pitching standpoint, and I want exposure to that, and I want to be overweight. It can make or break the night for sure. Mitchell Parker played him last time out. He struggled a bit. Not a big K guy, so that is a worry. But this Pittsburgh offense has been pretty weak. I want to dig into the numbers against left-handed pitching, but I think Mitchell Parker is certainly in play for us. Plus 150 to get the W, which is saying a lot for a Washington team on the road to have their, no-name starting pitcher to a degree be that strong to earn the W. That stands out for me. As we scroll down a little bit, Littell has K upside in the matchup, but I mean, home runs to fly balls, like fly balls in that ballpark turn into home runs. It's a really dangerous spot to be. Beto against the White Sox, who we're just going to keep picking on probably. He's been solid to begin the season, allowing a lot of base runners, so that is a worry because big innings can happen that way. But he is plus 145 to earn the W. Minus 155 favorite. Game total just 7.5 in that one. So I think he's kind of the guy down here. And I'm actually considering Dean Kramer, as weird as it feels. A lot of his props kind of point to some upside for him. Plus 195 to earn the W, minus 130 favorite in a game with a total of just 8. K prop of 4.5 isn't all that exciting, but he is somebody down there I'm considering. The rest of the guys aren't really in consideration for me, especially, like Corbin, Marquez, Falter, Cannon, not really. So there we have it. There's the first look at pitching for today. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. And if you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.